Hello, I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and today I'm going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes golfers make. So if this is your first time to this channel, welcome. This channel is all about helping you play better golf and to lower your golf score. So if this is of interest to you, you might want to subscribe to the channel. You can do so by clicking the little picture down on the bottom of the screen there, and you'll be notified of all of my golf tips as they get released every Monday morning Melbourne time at 9 a.m. So as I said, today we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes golfers make. So the first mistake I see golfers make is it's in the grip. Now when I talk about the grip, I'm not talking about having an overlapping or Varden grip, interlocking grip or baseball grip. This is a mistake that people make whatever the type of grip they use, whether it's right or left-handed. When people play, they put their hand in this part of the club if they're right-handed. If they're left-handed, they position the club in that. So I call that the first joint. And it feels fantastic when that happens. But really, the golf club is designed to be gripped more in that middle joint right there. So if we can get the club resting in the middle joint, it makes it much easier for me to position that club in the right part of my hand. If I grip it in the first joint, that makes my right hand get underneath the club a little bit too much. And from there, if I release my hands well or correctly, the ball's going to go left. It will then make me want to block to try and not make it go left. So I just find it so much easier to grip it in the middle joint. Now if you think about it, the golf grip tapers down. It is much thicker at the top than it is at the bottom. And it does so for a reason. It's designed to be gripped in different parts of the hand. So in our left hand, we do grip more in that first joint with the thumb down, but in our right hand, of course speaking right-handed, I want it in the middle joint of those 2 middle fingers, and that gets my grip looking really, really good. So give that a go. If you're not used to it, it'll feel quite strange at first, and don't be surprised if the first few times you do it, it heads out to the right. But if you can stick with it, you will start to learn to use your hands correctly, release the club, and you'll hit it straighter than you ever have, and probably a little bit further as well. So the second biggest mistake that I see people make is they don't have their alignment matching. So a lot of people take their setup and they stand there and they get their feet aligned properly, and that feels pretty good. But they get their shoulders aiming differently to where the feet are. So the most common fault I see in most golfers when they come to me for a golf lesson is that their shoulders are at least 10 degrees to the left of where their feet are pointing. So if I set up with my shoulders pointing left of where my feet are pointing, I'm going to develop a swing path that goes to the left. If I do that and I release, I'm going to hit little pulls and maybe some little smothered shots that go left. Or I might compensate and I might try and hold the club face open, and that's going to produce a shot that starts left and slices. Neither of which we really want to do. Now the reason we do this is because when we grip a golf club, we grip with our left hand on top and the right hand comes down, and you can see what's happening there. As soon as I put my right hand on the club, my shoulders are pointing to the left, and that sets me up. So what we've got to do is we've got to try and develop a better way of doing it. So you may see golf pros on TV holding the club in front of them. That sets the angle correctly. So that's quite good. Now you can see my shoulders and feet are in perfect alignment. It doesn't really matter which way you do it, as long as you find a way that will get your shoulders square with your feet. We really don't want to set up and have our shoulders pointing so far left. So you can also look at a mirror. That's quite a useful thing. Get a mirror in there behind, take your setup, and then as you're taking your setup, you just look back without moving your shoulders, and you'll quickly see whether your feet and shoulders are pointing in the same direction. So if you can do that, it's not going to create a swing change, where it sort of will, but you're not thinking of a swing change. But it's going to give you the best chance of hitting the ball in the direction that you want it to go. So this leads me to the third biggest mistake I see people make, and it's to do with fairway woods and hybrids. And most people just make the simple mistake of having the ball in the wrong position in their stance. They think fairway woods and hybrids are woods, therefore all woods need to be played off our left heel. So if I position this ball off my left heel, that is going to make my golf club strike in an upward blow, because the middle of my stance is about there. So by the time my club comes down and reaches its maximum speed there, it's on the up. So if I do a really good swing and I don't adjust, that's the shot I'm going to hit. I've just cold topped it. Not because it was a bad swing, but because the ball was in the wrong position. And a lot of people are under the misnomer that we want to have a sweeping sensation with a fairway wood or a hybrid. When you look at the tour data of TrackMan and FlightScope, the average tour player hits down on the ball 2.9 degrees. So that's a downward strike of close to 3 degrees. That's not a neutral angle of attack, that's a downward angle of attack. So if we're going to hit downwards 3 degrees, we don't want the ball forward in our stance. We want that ball a lot closer to the middle of our stance. So if we can position that golf ball in the middle, maybe just slightly forward but not too much, that gives us the best chance of creating a downward strike of about 3 degrees. That helps to get the ball in the air. That's going to help lower our score and hit better golf shots. So the fourth biggest mistake I see people make when they play golf is that they have this concept that I want this ball to go up in the air. So to help get that ball up in the air, I'm going to hit up. And that's exactly right. That's exactly what you want to do when the ball is sitting on a golf tee, not when the ball is on the grass. If the ball is sitting high up on a golf tee, we definitely want an upward strike. When the ball is on the grass, we don't want to hit an upward strike. We want a downward strike. We want that club to interact with the turf. So for that reason, we don't want to have our weight falling backwards trying to help do that. We need the opposite. We need our body weight moving forward. If we can get the body weight moving forward during the course of the downswing, the club can strike close to the bottom of the ball. If we can do that, the ball will go in the air because golf clubs have loft. So I just see so many golfers and they get frustrated when they can't get the ball in the air, and they just start doing that more and more, and they hit further and further behind the golf ball. All we need is to get that ball in the correct position to start with, which is the middle of the stance. And then on the way down, we move everything to our left, and that will help us create a really good strike on the golf ball. And that gets a nice little divot, not a massive divot, but the club scraped the grass, got under the ball, and the ball went in the air. And this leads me to my fifth biggest mistake that golfers make. I see so many people, it happened this morning in my kids' class that I ran. A parent was saying to their son, stop moving your head, you're lifting your head. You've got to keep your head still. All totally and utterly wrong. And firstly, I want you to think about, do you want to hit the golf ball short, or do you want to maximize your distance? I don't know anyone that wants to hit the ball short, but if you're going to not move your head, you're reducing power. Think about throwing a ball. If I try and throw a ball without moving my head, I'm going to be very limited in how far the ball goes. Yet if I move back this way and through this way, I'm going to throw the ball a lot further. So we want to encourage head movement. We don't want an excess of it, but we do want a bit of movement. As long as the movement is going back to my right on the backswing and through to my left on the downswing, that's the sort of movement we want. We certainly don't want to keep it still. So in trying to keep that still, it restricts our turn, restricts our power. We're very tight. We're not going to get good connection between club face and ball. It's just not going to help. So we want to make sure that we move, and when we move, it's to the right on the way back, to the left on the way through, and that's going to really help you get much better contact. And of course, when you hear someone say to you, "Oh, you lifted your head on that one," you're not lifting your head, you're lifting your spine. So I see a lot of people, as I said earlier, in trying to help get the ball in the air, they're falling back to their right and hitting up. Now, when I do that, my spine angle changes. What we want is we can rotate, but we don't want our spine angle changing. We really do, as much as we can, keep the spine angle the same, and I can keep the spine angle the same and still move my body. So there you have it, the 5 biggest mistakes I see people make when playing golf. So give them a go. You don't have to do all in one go, but just start thinking about 1 or 2 of them, incorporate them into your practice, make less mistakes. You'll find you're going to hit the ball better. If you hit the ball better, you're going to have a slightly better chance of lowering your score, and you're going to enjoy golf an awful lot more. Thank you for letting me help you with your golf. I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.